This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening. I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. A local resort property that has contributed to Grand Bahama's timeshare market for decades is said to be struggling to remain operational. Tonight, officials are calling on the relevant authorities to help keep their doors open and assist in addressing a myriad of issues impacting the resort and the destination as a whole. JoanDavis-Rolle reports.
A pending closure said to be in the making for a local resort here on Grand Bahama. This after a local developer says he has invested more than $120 million in this property. The Freeport resort, established 21 years ago, was once a jewel of Grand Bahama's timeshare industry during the heyday of Freeport. But the establishment is said to be on the verge of collapse after being battered by the boom and bust of this island's once thriving economy and the transfer of ownership between the Bahamas Princess, the Driftwood Group, and now Harcourt Development. President of Freeport Resort and Club, Jack Cabras.
6,000 individual people who are coming to vacation every year. And now we're down to around 500 because of how many do we have owners? We used to be around 80% occupied. How many people do we have here this week? Or the past 3 or 4 weeks? None? Okay. Well, we have had a couple. Maybe they're rentals. We are basically destroyed. Okay? But even because we're destroyed, I should have shut down 5 years ago. That wouldn't have been good for the staff. It wouldn't have been good for the community because a little bit is better than none. And we've even decided we're going to stay open till the end of 2016 because if I allow my owners to exchange out, because they don't want to come back here anymore, exchange out, then other people come in to exchange here.
Gabrowski says the lure of Grand Bahama has dwindled over the years and is now a lackluster destination void of amenities. Other areas suffering, he said, is the site of the once popular, now abandoned Bahamia Beach Club, an area which is overgrown with trees, and the depressed International Bazaar and the Emerald and Ruby golf courses.
They created the man-made beach for themselves, a privilege that the authorities gave them. That was public land, the Sunrise Highway. At the same time as they did that, they robbed us of 2 things. They didn't give us our beach club that was promised and was in operation for 21 years. And they robbed us of our access because they closed down the path. That shows you how an abuse of power can take place. And you should see, I've got tons of articles that says that all of Grand Bahama was opposed to that diversion of Sunrise Highway. And so they had it for 2 years, and then the hurricanes did them in. And now for 8 years now, no, 11 years actually. 11 years we've had that diversion for what?
We need our jobs. We have families, and we really need our jobs because if this resort closed down, we're still not guaranteed that we're going to have a job somewhere else because the economy in Grand Bahama is bad.
JoanDavis-Rolle, ZNS Network News.
A motorcyclist who was injured in a traffic accident over the weekend has died. Police say the man was riding a black and red motorcycle around 7:30 Friday night in the area of Solomon's in Lucaya when he was involved in an accident with a green 2005 Ford Taurus. The motorcyclist, 35-year-old Antidor Simmons of Aberdeen Drive, sustained serious injuries to the head and was taken to the Rand Memorial Hospital. He died shortly after 8 o'clock this morning. Meanwhile, Deputy Leader of the Free National Movement and Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Peter Turnquest, issuing a statement on Sunday's double murder. Turnquest says gun violence has clouded the nation with fatal darkness and has stolen 2 of the brightest lights. He says the close-knit settlement of Holmes Rock and the wider Bahamas now mourn the loss of a striving young family who were both educated with extensive training and impressively moving up the professional ranks. He says their lives were deeply rooted in West Grand Bahama, and their passionate and dedicated community work and involvement demonstrated they were proud of where they came from. The F&M deputy leader says in honor of their lives and the many victims of crime, the Free National Movement remains committed to the creation of a more safe and peaceful Bahamas for all. Barry and Sheena Johnson were found shot to death at their home in Holmes Rock on Sunday morning. The woman killed in that shooting in Holmes Rock on Sunday was the senior mistress at the 8 Mile Rock High School, Sheena Johnson. She was only recently appointed to the position. Tonight, the leader of the Bahamas Union of Teachers is singing the praises of the young educator, whom he says was taken at the peak of her career. Italia Hall reports.
If you steal something from someone, you could give them it back. If you lie to someone, you could apologize. There's no way to give someone their life back.
Area Vice President Quentin LaRota says he has known Sheena Johnson for over 20 years. Deeply saddened by the tragic shooting, LaRota says he met the former senior mistress when they were both students at the College of the Bahamas. He says from the start, he knew that academically she would be something great and would excel to become one of the top educators on the island.
I remember when she came in, her reputation preceded her, because I remember them saying, "But this girl come from 8 Mile Rock, valedictorian, she have 9 BGCSEs, she's a brain." And I remember when when I met her, she was a quiet, unassuming girl, but confident.
LaRota says he's still trying to come to grips with the tragedy.
We don't usually get these kind of gruesome situations. And then being in the 8 Mile Rock, down Holmes Rock in the back there, a peaceful community, she's home. You see, and that's the thing, she's home. And so that made it really disturbing. And I think back a lot. What's been on my mind, it's been reflecting on the days when we were young and in college, that our future was ahead of us, and all the hope and the unbridled enthusiasm of youth and the expectation of success and going forward. And then she accomplished these things, and then to have it just cut short, make it hard, and it wasn't a life lost, it was a life taken.
The BUT executive says Sheena Johnson always told her students what was true, which was to behave, push to go to college, come back and contribute to the country.
Sheena life lived that. And so she had credibility when she could say to the students, this is how you go about doing things. And so as an educator, she became an example. You have a young woman whose career just started to take off. I mean, in the prime of her life, the recent promotion that came through, the excitement of starting in a new post. She was very excited about this promotion.
As he tries to come to terms with the loss of such a remarkable teacher, he says he hopes her contributions will never be forgotten.
I want Sheena to be remembered as a local hero, someone who did her community proud, someone who can set the example for the other kids at 8 Mile Rock and the Western communities. That out of West Grand Bahama came some of our best and brightest.
The union leader says Sheena Johnson was a model citizen who made a great contribution to our country, and that's the type of Bahamian the country needs. It's Halia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Tonight, police are searching for 3 men whom they want to question in connection with murder. The first suspect is 28-year-old Dwight Jones of Jonestown 8 Mile Rock. He is 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighs 190 pounds, with light brown complexion, medium build, with a facial goatee. The second suspect is Garth Ewing Jr., age 25, of Hannah Hill 8 Mile Rock. He is described as standing at 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing 160 pounds, with medium brown complexion and thin build. The third suspect is 25-year-old Jamie Jermaine Jones of Jonestown 8 Mile Rock. He is 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighs 130 pounds, with light brown complexion and thin build. The subjects are wanted for questioning in reference to murder. Police say they are considered armed and extremely dangerous, and they should be approached with caution. If you have any information concerning any of these persons, you are asked to contact the police at the Central Detective Unit office at telephone numbers 350-3107 through 12, 911, 919, or call your nearest police station. In other news, some walkers and joggers coming face to face with a disturbing scene on the Mall Drive. A concerned citizen warning others who use the Mall Drive for their daily exercise to be aware. Kimberly Mullings fills us in.
What was supposed to be a normal morning walk for 2 women in the downtown area Tuesday morning was rudely interrupted.
We look across the street, there goes the naked man stepping out We saw him. He said, "Hi, ladies." So we were kind of afraid, but still we kind of used to him. So we said, "Okay, come then, you come across." So he started to come across. He started to run across. He said, "No, car coming." He came across, got close to us, very close. And once he see a car light, he would run back. And we looking to see somebody we could try to call or stop, for help. But we saw cars, but nobody really saw us. So we're looking for a police car. We never seen one.
She says it wasn't always like this, but it's gotten worse over time. The man now beckons and heckles passers-by while holding his genitals.
The other mornings we'll see him, but he would just stay under the tree. He wouldn't move. So we just continue walking, But like yesterday morning, he decided to come out after us. So that's when I'm more afraid, because now he's coming out of the bush after you.
From last November, including Tuesday morning, the walker says she has complained a few times to the police, not only about the alleged naked man, but also about the lack of police presence on the streets during the early morning hours. She notes that being ignored in this manner has made her angry.
I shouldn't have to stop walking because of him. The walking is good for your health reason, other stuff, and it's just good, safe walking. And here's supposed to be a place safe. Maybe if we have seen police car riding back and forth every 20 minutes or so, we'll feel more safe. But we're walking and there's no one.
This time she hopes that morning pedestrians would get assistance from the authorities.
I'm not going to stop until I get help, see some police car on the road, or something to let me assure that this man is off of the street. Sooner or later, he's going to attack someone. And guess what? That person could also be me.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. There's more news after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The students of the Sister Mary Patricia Russell Junior High School receiving a generous back-to-school gift from Star General today. Kimberly Mullings was there.
Star General here in Freeport making its first monetary donation to one of 4 schools on Monday. Relationship Human Resources Manager Sherry Strawn says their focus is on young children attending schools within the vicinity of Star General.
The schools that we're donating this year are Freeport Primary, Sister Mary Patricia, Hugh Campbell Primary, and Maurice Moore Primary.
Star General has been a part of the community for over 25 years. Business Development Manager Sonia Knowles says giving back to schools is a great way to kick off the academic year.
It doesn't make any sense we being around and not able to give back to the community, because if it wasn't for the community, we would not be here. So, it's a pleasure today that we come out and represent Star General by donating to the different schools here in Grand Bahama. It's not all of them, but there's some of them, and hopefully in the years to come we'll be able to assist other schools as well.
Knowles adds that partnering with other corporate entities like Pat's Uniforms and Bethel Booksellers for the give back was an excellent experience.
We found out lately that a lot of kids do not have uniforms when it's time to get back to school, so we wanted to start off this year early by assisting with those uniforms for the kids, because you don't want them to be left out in the school, and education is very important, so we took this initiative to try to be a part.
Principal of Sister Mary Patricia Russell, Dominique McCartney Russell, is ecstatic for the donation for the school.
We have some students who cannot afford basic necessities, school uniform, books, sometimes even food. And so for a corporate company to come and support us, I'm really grateful. And our students will be grateful. Last year, we utilized a lot of the local organizations for books and uniforms. And this year we'll do the same. And I wish other companies would come and do the same.
She says that social services assist with identifying those students in need, allowing the school to operate merely as a facilitator and support system for parents and guardians.
They would do an investigation beforehand. Parents would go there, and then they would check the homes. And so we already know our children who have the need. And what we would normally do is provide lunch for them.
Principal McCartney Russell added that faculty of Sister Mary Patricia Russell Junior High remains focused on the total well-being of all students, academically, athletically, and socially, and that the donation from Star General Grand Bahama couldn't have come at a better time. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
It's time now for Ask the Doctor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Monique Pratt. Welcome. In the previous segments, I recently discussed prediabetes, type 1 diabetes, which occurs in younger persons, and type 2 diabetes, which is the most common type in adults. Another type is gestational diabetes, which is a condition that women may get during their second trimester of pregnancy. About 4% of all pregnant women will develop this. Women who have gestational diabetes during pregnancy are more likely to develop it again during their next pregnancy, and it also puts them at a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes later in life. The older the woman is during pregnancy, the higher her risk of developing gestational diabetes. Unlike type 1 and type 2, this condition will stop once the baby is born. The final type of diabetes that I will discuss is maturity onset diabetes of the young, or MODY, and there are 11 different types. This is a rare form of diabetes, occurring in approximately 1 to 2% of diabetics in general. It is caused by a mutation or a change in a single gene. If a parent has this abnormal gene, any child that they have will have a 50% chance of inheriting the disease from them. Like any other form of diabetes, MODY can cause various complications such as increased risk in heart and vascular disease, kidney disease, and blindness. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Don't go away. Ask Rick is up next with sports.
Everybody, and welcome to Sports and Ricardo Light One. This one tonight goes out to my good friend Tyrone T. Man, you lucky the season's early. I'm going to tell you why in just a second. The Little League baseball and softball season is fast approaching, and also the Rising Star program is preparing kids for that new season. Natalia Hall has the story.
The Rising Star baseball and softball program got off to an early start Saturday morning with registration and preseason conditioning. It's a jump start on training and developing for the new season scheduled to get underway in January 2016. Cable Bahamas We Care program is sponsoring the league, and Rising Stars president Yvonne Lockhart says the kids are all excited, and they even have some first-time criers this time around.
As you can see from the turnout, it's awesome, and we expect it to grow even more. The coaches, they're excited. They're ready for the new season, and we have some new recruits that are coming on, more parental involvement, volunteers, and based on the numbers, it's going to desperately be needed. And to any parent that haven't volunteered as yet, we're still open.
She outlined some of the plans for the new season.
Our main focus is on development, and there is something in the pipeline for more training, more exposure.
Training will take place at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex Softball Park every weekend for boys and girls ages 3 to 18. It's Talia Hall, ZNS Total Sport.
And the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl is December 24th in New Providence. It'll be at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium. This year's activities will also include the junior players.
The Bahamas American Football Federation has endorsed the Popeyes Bahamas Youth Football Program. Assistant Commissioner is Calvin Adderley.
The Popeyes Bahamas Bowl, Bahamas Youth Football Program, that's what it is. It's going to be underneath sponsorship of Popeyes Bahamas Bowl, with sponsor partners of Popeyes Chicken, Conference USA, Mid-American Conference, and also late edition was ESPN Events. And also we have USA Football serving as a coach and official training sponsor.
The program is developed based on the intent to get as many young people playing American football as possible.
Like I said, it's going to be 6-man football, and it's going to be on 4 islands. It's going to be here at Graham Island, also New Providence Island, Abaco, and also in Bimini. The program is going to be starting from ages 10 through 12. We want to start from year 1. It's going to be, just be 10-year-old players. Eventually going into the second year, it's going to gradually increase where we'll have 10 and 11. And then in the third final year, it's going to be, be ages 10 through 12 that we'll be having on board. Those same kids that we started off at age 10, they would be in the third year class as our 12-year-olds.
The age divisions is structured so that the program will have a minimum of 3 years for development.
We'll have 6 teams. We're trying to have, there'll be 3 here in Freeport. There'll be 1 in East End, 1 in 8 Mile Rock, and also 1 in West End. Will be 12 players each team, and we'll plan on having 2 coaches per team.
Now at the end of the league, the clash in Nassau for the Bahamas Popeye Bowl Championship at the Thomas Robinson Stadium is something the kids can look forward to.
And I brought this in here. Tyrone T, you should be ashamed of yourself. You bring this pair in here. Last year, you had a Guinness World Record pair. You bring these little things in here, and then you giving them out? Wow. Anyhow, put this aside. Sports just finished.